Shell Shock.
Cowabunga, and welcome to episode number 7 of the Technodrome Tales podcast, an official TMNT rewatch podcast. Actually, guys, it's not official. It's not brought to you by
unofficial.
A very unofficial podcast, because this is not brought to you by anybody at Nickelodeon, Viacom, or Paramount. So it is a 1987 TMNT rewatch podcast. I, of course, am one of your 3 hosts, the real Brad Bell. And joining me tonight from the Buckeye State, Mr. Kendall Hallman. How are you doing, Kendall?
So we are the official Ninja Turtles podcast of TechnodromeTales.com, though.
Yes, we are. Which this is the only content you will find there is this podcast. So,
also, let's say we're the official Ninja Turtles podcast of KendallCast.ninja, because I posted all the episodes there too. So we're double official.
All right. Okay, then. The Technodrome Tales podcast is the official podcast of KendallCast.ninja and the official TMNT podcast of TechnodromeTales.com. Thank you for joining us this evening. And how are you doing, Kendall Hallman? You survived Transformers the last night.
I thrived through Transformers the last night. It was great.
But there were no hot dogs.
No, there were hot dogs. The hot dogs were good. They cost $1. They were tasty.
I know. I listened to the last episode of War and Beast.
I would actually went and saw the movie if I knew there'd been $1 hot dogs.
Yeah. You just have to come to Columbus, Ohio.
I have family there.
Yeah. Actually, I got there like late, and it was one of these theaters that's assigned seats. I mean, late, like 10 minutes before the movie, not like into the movie. But I was on my own.
Hot dogs.
So I still got like one of the best seats in the house because I was at the end of the handicap row. There's like a handicap row, and the last seat is not handicapped. I guess like if you come with your handicapped friend, you can be in a not handicapped seat. And so obviously, that row was empty because there weren't any handicapped people there. And so I got to sit in like one of the best seats in the house with the $2 hot dogs. So
that's
it was good times.
Yeah, I liked your take on your podcast feed. I listened to that before I put out my stuff on Transformers. Which at this point, guys, I've done 3 reviews kind of on Transformers, because on the Confirmed Epic Podcast YouTube channel, I did the Rapid Reflections, which Kendall checked out. Thanks so much, Kendall. I wrote a review that's posted on actionfigurebarbecue.com and ththeepicreview.com. And I did a podcast with Amos reviewing Transformers the last night. And Andrew Stokes and I, a.k.a. Andrew Stokes, are going to be reviewing it on Confirmed Crap podcast number 3 this week.
So you've reviewed this movie more times than we reviewed Batman versus Superman.
Yeah. We only reviewed that one twice, and one of those was for an ultimate cut, at least.
Well, we'll see what comes out on DVD for Transformers. I haven't seen Transformers. I don't intend to see Transformers. So.
Oh, you don't?
No,
I hate that, man.
I haven't watched any of them. I saw the first one and a couple minutes in the second one.
I know you hadn't, but on our podcast, episode 32 of the Confirmed Epic Podcast, Kendall, when we reviewed Age of Extinction, Jerry pretended he told everybody that he didn't see it, but he attempted to review the movie with us, and it sounded pretty coherent. So
I reviewed like maybe from the trailers I'd seen and. Some fever dreams I'd had.
Well, most of the time when I read reviews, I'm pretty sure they're based on the trailers too, because nobody ever has any new ideas in the reviews. Everybody goes into.
That's probably more common than we think.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I just feel like this is my cynical opinion of the way that things are, but like I feel like everybody goes into a movie knowing what their opinion of it is going to be, and then regardless of it. They come
That's
out.
How most people write book reports. So,
yeah. Well, I will say with Transformers 5, I went in expecting like horse shit, And I actually got a lot of enjoyment out of the movie, as you can tell from the content I put out there. So this isn't a Transformers podcast. If you want that, check out War and Beast, which is Kendall's other podcast that he's on. Now, also joining us tonight is the best toy reviewer on the internet, the Pumpkinhead himself, not just a partner, but my friend, Jerry Barbecue 17 Reed. How are you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing very well, and this is the unofficial Barbecue 17 of actionfigurebarbecue.com.
And here's the cool thing. I'm going to make sure that this podcast now gets posted every time we do it on actionfigurebarbecue.com.
That's true. That's true. So, turtle stuff. Turtle time.
Right. Turtle power.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I was glad to get back into this episode.
I was too. I was glad to get back into the groove of things. So we're starting season 2 tonight with season 2, episode 1, Entered the Shredder. This originally aired October 1st, 1988. Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. What were your initial impressions of the episode? We'll start with you, Kendall.
This was definitely the weakest episode yet. I thought, I mean, it was
Really?
There was a lot of exposition, and then and I mean there were some good moments too. The interaction between Shredder and Krang was kind of humorous, but yeah, this was just, I mean, it definitely there's a definite change in tone with this episode. And it's something I'm going to have to get used to, but at the same time, just didn't do it for me in this initial context. I think really what the biggest problem was there was a lot. It seemed like there was a lot of exposition. It clearly was. This was meant to be a viewable. They didn't, it was in syndication or whatever, so they wanted to make sure that they introduced all the characters. And oh man, I can't believe that we would have just been regular turtles if Shredder hadn't spilled the thing on him. Oh, see, yeah, that was really great. But
I like that just a little bit. I know it was hard on exposition, but it at least referenced what came before, which is something as this series goes further down the line, I think they do a little less of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it did acknowledge that the things that happened during season 1 that were told about the Turtles' origin in season 1 had stakes. Again, one of my favorite words. Now, Kendall, you felt the extra campiness, the extra cheese, though, going from season 1 to season 2. Was it really jarring to you?
I mean, I kind of knew what to expect. And it just was like, kind of, because I felt like it wasn't enough yet. Like if it was a little bit more over the top, I think it could have worked really well. But because it was just sort of felt like one step away from what was sort of a step down in quality from season 1 to season 2. And I'm hoping that as the show goes on, if they're going to embrace that style, that just the sort of, the jokes are funnier and things like that. It's just sort of, I don't know. This episode just didn't quite do it for me.
See, the production quality was up because there's a scene in which April calls one of the turtles. She's trying to call Leonardo, and Donatello answers, and he says, "No, this is Donatello, not Leonardo." Instead of just continuing on and saying, "This is Leonardo."
There was one mistake in the episode that I caught where Raphael is clearly speaking in Leonardo's voice and Leonardo's lines. It's when they're at the table eating together, eating those little pizza, like the personal pizzas. It still happens. I mean, I'm sure that had to be one of those things that, you have 4 turtles, and I mean, other characters' voices are popping out of their mouths pretty often.
So, Jerry, what were your initial thoughts on this episode?
I actually I really liked it. I liked it better than a couple of the season 1 episodes. I thought it was pretty fast moving. One of the things I liked was it is clear that that they realized at some point that they had this was an option this episode gave them the option of kind of not rebooting, that's not the right word, but reintroducing some things. So you have a little bit of each of the dynamics, but it really felt that going into this episode that all of the characters had sort of a renewed or revisited sense of purpose. I mean, Shredder is, we see the Shredder, the season 1 arc for Shredder, and now it's kind of been turned around. Krang has what he wants, and now Shredder is sort of the low man on the totem pole.
Shredder's the bitch now.
Shredder is the guy who is the lackey, or he's the one that doesn't have the power, so he is having to rebuild things without relying on Dimension X technology. So I thought that was interesting. The Turtles, I mean, it's hard to say they have quite a renewed sense of purpose, but they realize Shredder's still at it. What was interesting is it felt like April has more of a storyline now, because she has a mission to show that the Turtles are heroes versus Byrne Thompson, who it says the president. Is that they call him the president of the news company? That just sounds really weird. He seems like a
news director,
editor in chief, right, or something. Would that be the term? Whatever he is, the showrunner. He's kind of got the whole J. Jonah Jameson thing going on.
Jerry, I just want to say I think the Turtles have a renewed sense of purpose too, and that's to sell toys now. That's the cash cow has been confirmed by this point.
So, what position is J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle? Because he's not the editor in chief. Because that's Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, that's right.
So what is J. Jonah Jameson's position there? Because is he the president?
I don't know. I've never heard of a president. I'm trying to think what he's called. Publisher.
Yeah.
He's either a publisher or sometimes the editor in chief. I'm looking at a Wikipedia. So
okay.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, but if it's a network, I mean, I guess you have a president of a network. If they're a local, at the local news.
It seems really weird though to have like president on the door when he's just like running around. Yeah, I don't know.
Jerry, you're making a point for me that I wanted to mention later in the episode. I think he is very presidential because his wife is clearly one of Trump's earlier wives.
Is it his wife, or I don't know what? I mean, it was definitely a girlfriend of some
That
sort.
wasn't really clear who that was.
But she was my daughter, literally. So my almost 4-year-old watches these with me, and she's asking me, why is that lady not like turtles? And I'm trying to explain to her what the lady said was when she was 5, her brother put a turtle in her bed, and my daughter's like, so why isn't she like turtles? Like, I don't know. It was a really bizarre throwing that in there, but it gives April a little bit more conflict for her to resolve professionally, that she's trying to show the Turtles are heroes and other people are looking at them as their villains. So it's very much the J. Jonah Jameson on Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
I really
I should like that.
I don't know if it's going to continue. I don't know if it's going to continue through the season. We'll have to see.
Probably not. Did you? So whenever Allie was asking about the lover of, what's his name? Is it Thompson?
It's Byrne Thompson.
Okay, Byrne Thompson here. The only thing she likes this green is money. That's all you needed to explain. And then you didn't want to get too much into about what a mistress was.
She even didn't like that he had mock turtle soup.
Oh man, what an episode this was. I enjoyed it. I kind of disagree with Kendall. I don't know if it was as good as anything from season 1, but then again, I kind of expected this change of pace, this more campy sensibility to the show, especially with Shredder. I remembered that starkly that was coming, and I thought that the Shredder, they almost embrace full campiness with him here.
I mean,
at times they definitely did.
Let me clarify though. Like, I didn't dislike the episode. I thought there was some stuff in it that didn't work, and I agree with you, Brad, that it was just not as strong as the first season, as any of the episodes in the first season.
Oh yeah,
like it just feels like I think why I'm feeling so down on it is it feels like sort of across the board a step down. You know, it's just across the board not as good in all these different things. Like the stuff, I mean, the mistress stuff was funny. Was good and goofy. Normally, I would really like a J. Jonah Jameson analog character in that situation. I'm not sure what it was about it that I didn't like. I liked the what were the nasty Ninja Turtle gang or what?
The Crooked Ninja Turtle gang.
Ninja Turtle gang. Here's our card.
I love that. I love that.
HeroCon costumes next year, Brad.
I especially love. Yeah, I love the business card, and I love that they catch them on camera, and it is very clear that these are humans in crappy costumes, and yet they still think that they're the Ninja Turtles.
Well, it was fake news.
That's what I brought up. He even says to the Burton even says to the mistress or something about, well, it's the truth, and she's like, no, not real. You know, even after watching the video, and I'm like, oh, the original fake news. So.
Yeah, and even the lady, although I guess the lady at the store, she made the point that they made a point in that first scene where she wasn't really sure if they were turtles or not,
or salamanders. She can't tell them apart.
Because she can't tell them apart, which sounded really racist.
See, I kind of the way I took that was she was covering for the turtles, right?
Well, no.
I thought she was genuinely confused.
Because then she gets robbed by the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang, and she thinks that they're the same people.
She said, "I thought they were such nice boys. They seemed like such nice boys earlier." So
let's talk about that opening scene at the grocery store. I really enjoy this scene. We see the turtles in the trench coats again. They come in, they kick ass, they take the gang out, they get some free groceries.
Why'd they undress though? Like that's what
I was gonna bring.
I mean, they as soon as they go into action, they like pull off their trench coats. But it seems like if the whole point is to be in disguise, they could have. I mean, I know it fits the story of the episode, I guess, but they could have, just fought with their coats on because we've seen them do that.
Well, but if they fight with their coats on too much, then people will stop looking for the turtles. They'll start looking for strange shaped people in trench coats.
And that would have made for a stronger plot for Shredder to go off of. But it just seemed kind of funny, like, all right, we're disguised, let's rip off our clothes. And
the tagline of the show isn't turtles in disguise. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so they want to reveal themselves and kick as much ass as possible.
Yeah, it seemed counterintuitive to do that.
Also, this is like a superhero cliche, but like, how much money were those robbers really going to get from the cash register? Like $100?
They destroyed a lot of eggs. They destroyed a lot of milk. They took down a banner. The only thing I was like, the lady does say they saved my life. So, I mean, maybe there really was that. There was definitely that concern.
They had clubs. They didn't even have guns.
Well, I mean, still a club in the head will... not be a good thing. Yeah. But I did think that too, of like, how much damage did the turtles just do versus, these guys like stealing some money. But at the same time, they'll have insurance.
All right, guys.
And that they must have had, she probably had problems with the health department too, because those eggs were not refrigerated.
They were just sitting out. Although my wife swears that you can do eggs like that if you buy them organic, like from a farmer's market, you don't have to refrigerate them. So maybe those were like really organic eggs. Maybe they were in kind of like a really hipster, trendy area.
Yeah, I mean,
I doubt it. It was probably just a little writing snafu.
Yeah, because or maybe they only kept them out for 4 hours at a time, because you can also do that.
Or maybe the writers were like, "This is a kids show designed to sell toys. Nobody's gonna buy the perishable goods we have in the background of the freaking grocery store."
Well, maybe they do health department checks on the content of cartoons. We don't know.
I want to talk about what was the best part of this episode to me, and that was Shredder. I love how he shows up The gangsters are in the park, and he immediately wants to intimidate them. They're trying to rob him. He jumps up into a tree, and then with his basically bare hand chops a giant branch of the tree down. What did you guys think of this?
When Shredder first popped up, when Shredder first appeared and got sent back to Earth from Dimension X, right? They're in Dimension X because of what happened at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I missed season 5. I don't think I watched it and reviewed it with y'all, right?
You mean episode 5?
Episode 5, sorry.
Yeah, we missed seon 5. We hadn't got there yet.
So, have we seen Krang's body yet, other than this episode?
Yeah, his body was
revealed at the end. Okay, all right. Well, the thing I thought when Shredder first appeared and he's like, foot soldiers, and he's calling for everybody, I'm like, did they really go this far? But then they pretty quickly make him, pretty tough cookie, and he jumps up there. But seemed to, I wanted to see him dispatch him by hand, but cuts down a tree limb and knocks it down on some guys. That's pretty cool too. But I mean, that was pretty severe, just cutting down a tree limb.
Yeah.
He cuts a lot of things in half and in multiple pieces even.
And he teaches the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang how to do that too, because they're going into stores just busting open cash registers
to kick a safe open. They kick a safe open and the safe just like falls apart.
Well, you got to remember, these guys were already all black belts.
That's true.
The Slash for Cash dojo.
Yes, Slash for Cash. That sounds like a legit business.
Okay, this wording is kind of confusing because you would think the guy who maybe runs the place would be named Slash. I know we got the character Slash coming up later, but it's like the Slash for Cash dojo. I'm Smash.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay. So we have Smash who runs Slash for Cash.
Oh man, I love it. He just goes into this dojo and just like it takes all of 2 seconds for him to basically, emasculate Smash, and he's like, whatever you want.
Well, he cuts a weight bag into like 8 pieces, right? Just like walks in and cuts a weight bag in pieces. It's pretty cool. It's the way it works, actually.
Yeah, that's how society should work. Like, if you want to lead the country, you should just go into people's houses and bust open weight bags. And that's how you can prove your self-worth.
I don't think busting open weight bags is any kind of, grounds for a new form of government. But at least it's the way that taking over dojos should be handled. So,
all right. So, what'd you think of the stuff where he went into the Slash for Cash dojo, Kendall? We loved it, obviously.
I mean, I think that was fine. I would have liked it better if he literally did fight the person. Like, I don't know, breaking a punching bag is a little.
So you wanted to see Shredder clash with Smash from Slash for Cash.
Right, exactly.
I think it would have been trash.
But yeah, like I do like that he went and found the sleaziest dojo he could find, and it acquired new people. Also, related, he has like actually a pretty good plan of I will discredit the Ninja Turtles, and that will draw them out, and then once I draw them out, then I'll go after him. And then Krang's like, no, that's going to take too long. And then he screws up the plan by getting Baxter Stockman and all that stuff. Like, it's like if he'd have just kept up, he had a good thing going. If he'd just,
I felt like Baxter was the weakness in this plan.
And let's talk about Baxter when he first shows up. He has a therapist who's a cross between Napoleon Bonaparte and Captain Crunch.
I don't think that's his therapist. I think
that's another guy who's in the asylum with Baxter.
That's what. Well, it was. They were.
I think they just tell that guy he's the therapist because
he thinks he's Napoleon.
Yeah, he's got a Napoleon complex.
Golly, I just wonder what they were thinking when they wrote that scene. Did they think that would be clever at all?
I don't know.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang. So we talked about how they leave a calling card. They go into every place they're going to rob, and they pronounce we're the Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang, which makes sense because they're trying to frame the turtles.
They're very brash.
And they don't say we're the Ninja Turtles or what. I guess they're not known as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in public or whatever.
Right.
But they're very brash because they were trained by Smash from the Slash for Cash dojo, and when they take off, they dash
in a flash.
God. Well, this has become an alliteration podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening.
We just burn things down to ash.
That's rhyming. Now, alliteration would be the first letter.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not an English teacher then. Thank God. So what about Baxter's rat?
I'm concerned that you're a history teacher since you thought Napoleon was the therapist. No, I'm just
I recognized it was a reference to Napoleon.
Who's that short guy?
Yeah.
Who's that short guy up there with Baxter Stockman? Says the history teacher.
That may have been a little. Well, I'll do just American history, but not that the French Revolution. Okay, never mind. Let's not get into this. All right, Baxter's rat catcher. What'd you guys think of this thing?
It was pretty cool, I guess.
It had a catcher's mitt, a boxing glove, and a fly swat on it. How is that going to? I mean, what the hell? This is. I think I'm gonna change my verdict to what Kendall had and say this wasn't a good episode. The more I pick it apart.
Yeah. I mean, when they caught Splinter in it, with like the teeth and stuff.
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of like the jail cells you would see in like an old movie or like an old cartoon or something, like some sort of like, native or tribal jungle or I don't know, in WWE when they do like the Punjabi prison match, that's kind of what it reminded me of when they caught Splinter in it. So it was cumbersome. Again, I think Baxter completely complicates this episode.
Yeah. Totally.
Did a good episode. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I think I like this episode, and there's even a couple season 1 episodes I like it better than. But I felt like Baxter's inclusion here was not warranted yet at this point, because you're right. Shredder has a solid plan, and they really should have just focused on the Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang and Shredder trying to expose the turtles.
Because the Baxter thing is so it's so extraneous. It's like there's probably like 2 minutes of content that it provides. Like he goes in. First of all, the thing about his rat catcher that bothered me is they base it on like a thing that's like a tunnel driller,
like an auger, right? Like
something that's got a big drill on the front, and then they remove the big drill, yet still it can tunnel, which is. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
That kind of confused me because when they first look at that drill outside of the padded cell, I'm thinking, oh, the mutant module. But then I think to myself, wait, they already have the mutant module, right?
Then again, you just explained this. This plan came from a guy at a padded cell. So,
but actually, they don't have the mutant module because no Dimension X technology.
Yeah, he's on his own.
Oh yeah, it has appeared, but they don't have it there. Yeah, I get completely what you're saying. Okay.
Shredder is on his own.
Would you go ahead?
He, in a sense, is.
Sorry, I'm going to get off track here. Speaking of the mutant module, I did in between episodes here went to a local barcade and played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actual arcade game. It was pretty cool.
Smooth. It's a good game.
We're actually going to a place like that tomorrow night, Kendall. One of my friends, Jerry, our good friend Evan Truelove, he is taking me out to a barcade that has the Ninja Turtles game, and that's the number one reason I want to go.
Oh, nice.
And hopefully nobody turns out the lights on us and we get to enjoy it. But
who turned the lights out?
It's really interesting playing that game after having played the NES port of it, because it looks a lot better, believe it or not.
It's just a cool like arcade thing too, like just to look at the casing of it and everything, like the art and stuff.
If you get one of the ones that has 4 controllers on it, so 4 people can play at once, it's incredible.
The thing is though, at least the cabinet that I was playing at, four grown overweight men could not fit in front of that cabinet. I think you could probably get about 2 people because they are close together. or 4 small children could probably.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Last time I played a 4-person one, I was probably like 40 pounds. So
it's probably
like
less.
7, so.
It's probably less than 3 foot across. The whole thing. So it'd be tricky.
Brad's thin. He can make it work.
The thing that I want to say about going to play this game with Evan Truelove is when the lights go out for him at this barcade, it will probably have a different meaning than the turtles falling in the sewer. So, and if you knew Evan, Kendall, you would know why. But all right, let's talk about Ground Zero here.
We are no longer. This just in. We are no longer the official podcast of Evan's website.
No, we're not. We can be. Sure. We just got to say it. If you say it, it makes it true. That's how you become the official anything.
If you say it, it makes it true.
Yeah. Ask Donald Trump. It makes it true. I'm going to be president. It worked. He is all right. Okay. The finale here with the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang. So I'm assuming that this took place above the sewer lair of the Ninja Turtles, because when they go, this is after the Baxter Stockman rat catcher machine had been through and captured Splinter. But when they go to the surface, I mean, it looks like that place is being totally destroyed. There's alliteration, totally.
Totally trashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they get up. I didn't really understand that.
Is it like a construction site?
But it was so I didn't understand.
It definitely felt like a construction site because like the presence of all the drums and stuff, like the barrels and the building materials.
Maybe it was the construction site that where they stole the drill from.
That makes a lot of sense.
The same one where they made Toka and Razor in the second movie.
Oh my gosh, it's a connection.
That's a junkyard though, right? That's not a construction.
Yeah, it's a junkyard. You're right.
And we'll get there when we finish season 2 of our Ninja Turtles podcast. So
I gotta tell you, I love the part during that fight though, when Michelangelo, and I sang along with it before it even came because I knew it was coming. When Michelangelo gets the one barrel over one of the crooked ninja guys, and he starts hitting it, and he goes, "I've been working on the oil drum." I remember that. Like I remember that as a kid. I don't know if it was in.
That was brainwashing for Big Oil, Jerry.
It's brainwashing for Big Oil.
That's what it was. One of my favorite political T-shirts, by the way, that I ever saw was during the Bush administration. Since I'm getting off on political side tangents all on my own. And it had W's face, and it said, "Instant asshole, just add oil." Just a great shirt. Should have picked that up on a coffee mug. All right.
All right.
The Turtles at Ground Zero at the junkyard. Pretty cool fight scene ensues. It looks, the entrance of the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang is a lot more badass than how they actually fight. I think their entrance to that final set piece there takes longer than it does for the Turtles to dispose of them, because it's rather quickly. Because the true finale happens when we get to the megaton battering ram. And I just want to say, whenever Shredder captures Splinter, he won't ever just put him in like a cage or something like that. He's got him up on the wall, like almost in, Christ-like position here.
He's like a Bond villain, Yeah. He's got to do something elaborate and
and in the first season, he has him in that like little dome type thing, and where he uses his fingernail to unscrew it and has that Hawkeye like precision. You remember that, Kendall?
Yes, I do. One of the few times in this show where Splinter was competent, because that's what I'm noticing here. Splinter gets kidnapped a lot, and I thought he was supposed to be like not terrible at everything. Like I understand. Yeah. I understand in the movie he got like ambushed by like 30 or 40 guys.
In the movie, he's like 110 years old too.
Yeah. But in this, like, I don't know, they treat him as if he's supposed to be super awesome, and
he is always getting kidnapped in this cartoon.
Oh, I forgot.
It definitely gets a little crazy.
So, what is it called? Since I'm screwing things up tonight on this podcast, what the hell is it called whenever the medieval kind of contraption restraining device? Because the turtles, when they take care of the crooked Ninja Turtle gang, just to go back to that scene for a second.
Stocks.
Yeah, that's what it
Stock
is.
and pillory.
Yeah, they build a stock.
Like right on site. I mean, they were at a junkyard or whatever, a construction site. So there was probably a lot of wood there, but still.
Also, they built it with swords and nunchucks and a staff and sai. Like, it's not like they had a hammer and nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Like, that was a little Looney Tune-ish almost.
Are you guys sure you want to do all 10 seasons of this shit?
Oh man, I like this one. I like this one. Hey, I want to talk about some of the people from April's work.
Like Irma?
Yeah, Irma and Vernon.
Well, Vern, he's the camera guy, right? The guy that Will Arnett plays in the new
in the new movies. But right here, Vernon's kind of the rival to April at this point. He's the one that is introduced as he's going to make the turtles look bad.
And he's also the guy that that's also the name of the character in the movie, right? That's like April's boss / has the kid.
No. He has a completely different name, Charles.
Yes, Charles.
Yeah, that guy didn't appear in any of the other media that I know of. Charles and Danny are unique to just that first film.
But he can be the official news guy for the Technodrome Tales podcast if you want him to be Kendall.
Wait, Vernon or Charles?
Charles.
I like Charles. Charles is a great character.
Yeah, Charles.
Vernon here gets on my nerves, which is what he's supposed to do.
Guys, I got a theory.
Tell me the theory.
All right, here it is. Here is why Charles is single. That's Danny's mom, that blonde. All right. The blonde that Vern is with, the mistress, that's Charles's wife.
No, you're mixing stories.
She left him because she was sleeping with the boss. It created a whole bad workplace vibe. I'm telling you. That's what happened.
Was she like 6 when she had him? I don't think she's old enough to have a 16-year-old son.
I mean, let's just say she's like 32 and she had a lot of plastic surgery, so still that math will add up.
You're remember, this is I'm not even going to descend into your well of madness, Brad.
Okay, all right. You don't
not going to happen.
Endorse my theory.
At this point, Vernon Fenwick is arrogant and he's a jerk, and we're supposed to root against him. And I don't know, I just think he's kind of funny. He has such a pretentious sounding voice.
Yeah, he does. And I tell you, Irma is annoying as hell. That she's so whiny in this. I don't know. I just
so Jerry, are you saying then that the Michael Bay film it's true to the source material because the Vernon character was annoying and has an annoying voice?
Probably a good extent. I think Will Arnett has more charm. Will Arnett definitely has the charm down, but they play some elements well. I really like him as Vernon because Vernon's character develops a little bit over the show.
Wait, I thought he was Casey Jones. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Brad, I haven't seen the second movie, and you're confusing me.
I know. Man, you have not seen the second movie?
I have not seen the second movie yet.
See, the only thing that disappointed me about Casey Jones is that I thought Stephen Amell could actually act, and because I watch Arrow, and I think he does decent in that. But God, I don't think he's that good in that second Ninja Turtles movie. But
I was really excited. Then I heard that things were not so good, and I was like, but I just didn't get to see it. I think everybody went and saw it.
Let's go ahead and swing this back.
Back to
like a megaton battering ram.
Yeah. All right, back. We talked about Vernon.
Okay.
Irma. Is she one of the Chipettes? I don't know.
I think
something about her reminds me of one of the Chipettes.
Who is the most attractive of the three females on this episode? Is that April, the mistress, or Irma? You had to go.
April.
Had to go for one of them. Which would it be? I don't know. Irma's got that whole glasses vibe going on. She's really pulling that off well. Now she's kind of whiny, but she pulls those glasses off well.
I don't know.
I'm not attracted to any of them, but but I think April probably just by a hair.
Did anyone else?
April, because of her hair, she has great hair.
Did anyone else notice? And I'm not even saying this to sound just dumb. I know it's going to come across as dumb and misogynistic, so I apologize in advance. But it seemed like April's bust line was a bit bigger in this episode.
Okay, I actually marked that on the things that I.
Yeah, you did. I knew.
No,
you
not the
did.
bust line. She, in generally, April looked much curvier in this episode in general. Like, I thought her proportions were a little different. I don't know.
They brought Donald Trump on as a consultant.
Shut up, Brad.
Yeah.
But I really do think that the character model looked a bit different.
What about you, Kendall? Did you notice a different looking Miss O'Neill?
I didn't know.
Okay, so I'm glad that I was not the only one that noticed that on this.
I thought something was different. I thought her hips looked bigger.
To be fair, I only watched this episode once. I didn't watch it twice like I normally do because I was just like nothing happened in this episode. So, I may not have noticed some stuff. I think we're kind of here.
Kendall, go to 7 minutes and 31 seconds into your DVD and click pause, and just let me know what I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So you've mentioned that they say it's a megaton. The
Isn't that like a nuclear bomb?
Yeah. So I wanted to confirm this because he says that looks like it weighs a megaton. Which so if you're familiar with the metric system,
which
mega is the prefix for a million. So like a megabyte is a million bytes. When I looked this up in the internet dictionary thing, it says a megaton is a unit of explosive power chiefly used for nuclear weapons, equivalent to 1 million tons of TNT.
So what's a gigawatt?
That would be that's funny because I know that because actually Back to the Future is so old that they didn't use that nobody said that word out loud. It actually is gigawatt. It's
oh wow, I didn't know.
I think it's a billion because a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. So it would be a billion.
And just to clarify, when you said the Internet Dictionary, that's Wikipedia, right?
I Googled it and it gave me a thing that looked like a dictionary definition.
A gig is a billion.
Yeah.
Billion tons. Yes. Gigaton's a billion tons. A megaton's a million tons.
All right, let's just say this: it was heavy as shit. This battering ram. There you go.
So, yeah, it was as heavy as 1 million tons of TNT.
But it can also be used as the regular weight as well. I mean, a megaton is correct.
Yeah.
It is correct to say something is a megaton. It's not common.
Yeah. It's
an awkward way.
Yeah.
I have not heard that since Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
It's that would be an insane size because like a ton is 2,000 pounds. Right?
Yes.
Although this would be a metric ton, which is more, right? How big?
So we already had that. We had English that I screwed up. We had history that I at least recognized with Napoleon, and now we have math. We're converting things.
It just
2,204.62 pounds is 1 metric ton. So that times a million. That's how
sounds
big that
awkward.
is.
It'd be like if the guys ripped open that safe that they kicked open and said, "Oh my gosh, look at all the farthings." You'd be like, "What?" It doesn't make any sense. It's just an awkward way of putting it, you know.
Let's talk about this final scene. Leo's leadership's on full display. You have Raph being the badass that he is as he jumps out of the rat catcher, Baxter's rat catcher. It can go into a Splinter and ram him to a bloody death. And just typical cliche turtle stuff here. I don't know if it was anything too memorable. But based on your guys' epic response, I think that you would echo that sentiment.
Yeah, there are way other parts of the episode I thought were more memorable because that took me to pull that up there. So,
although at the end, I did
it.
like how Shredder took Baxter like a little kid, and he was like flailing, and he threw him over his shoulder and ran off.
So I just did the math for how many pounds a megaton would be, and I got that notation that you only use in like chemistry, but it's 2.20462 times e to the 9th.
That's pretty heavy.
Which I don't remember what that means.
Me either. I forgot every bit of chemistry after I passed the state test in high school.
I'd have to look at it. I took a good bit of chemistry.
It's just lots of zeros.
Yeah.
Speaking of chemistry, we're getting our chemistry back on this podcast tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to us do that. Now we'll start the real show. All right. How about at the end when April communicates directly through the TV with them? Because if you remember at the end of the first season, I think it was episode 5, so this may have been one that Jerry missed on the podcast, but Kendall and I discussed it.
Oh, Shredder does that.
But he doesn't talk to them directly, right? He just calls them out. He interrupts a broadcast.
Yeah.
This season, we take it one step further because she's directly communicating through the TV.
She's actually not. She's practicing. She's actually just talking to them on Skype.
That's what we're doing right now on this podcast. What I said, the real podcast is about to start here in a second. To me, I took away from this that this is a clear sign that this show has embraced full cheesiness, campiness, whatever you want to call it. Although the ending does have my favorite line, in which April gives Splinter a shout out. They pan the camera to him and he says, age does have its privileges.
Because she winks at them, right? She says,
am I the only one who thought this felt like a Cialis commercial?
I totally wrote it down, but I didn't write that part. I wrote the line down.
It was great. Go ahead, Kendall.
I've never thought of Splinter as being like the creepy old man, like the horny old man. I don't like it. I don't like Splinter being a horny old man. Like I can deal with the ninja with all the turtles having a crush on April because it's like that sort of innocent teenager thing. Like they all kind of have a crush on, like it's the 16-year-old on their hot teacher or something, but I'm sure you run into that a lot, Jerry. Or I mean, Brad.
Brad, yeah, I'm not a teacher.
Jerry runs into it. I wouldn't know what you're talking about, but
there's an element of innocence to the turtles' crushes. Like when Splinter should not be a dirty old man. Like. That's when he wakes up. That you do not
maybe
cross.
He's more like the most interesting guy in the world versus like, y'all want to come in my sewer and learn some ninjutsu?
No, I didn't get him as like a pedophile at all. I
didn't say that.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's not. He's like the like Sailor Mars's grandpa in Sailor Moon. Like he's just like. It's that kind of thing. Like, I mean, obviously not to that extent, but it's just I've never seen him as being like, saying things that show that he's attracted to April. Like, it's just it's weird. I don't like it.
Do you think when he wakes up in the morning, he's like, I got a splinter?
Oh.
Can we edit that out? Can we edit that part out before we put that online?
We just lost our one viewer. Shoot.
Did we really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Bob Reed.
Yeah, thanks, Bob Reed. I actually, never mind. That's like completely behind the scenes production stuff. And based on this podcast, we might as well discuss it on the air. Why not?
Whatever. Hey, April, one point said this looks like World War XI. So Interesting. Are we an alternate universe where we've skipped like 9 world wars?
Which I took that as some kind of
10?
sexual double entendre.
Wait. No, this just occurred to me. Maybe she's actually dumb, and she just always sees World War and then and she thought that was 11, not 2.
Wow. I just thought maybe this was an alternate universe where like there'd actually been more world wars, and we just skipped them.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like this World War III is something that was referenced like a lot in 90s stuff.
Well, yeah, 80s too with the Cold War.
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably even more so in the there's the fear of World War III. I mean, but I feel like in like pop culture and stuff, you get that reference to the point that there was an Animorphs book that I read for the War and Beast podcast for a thing, and one of the characters says, "Oh yeah, your grandpa, he fought in World War III, right?" And he goes, "No, it was World War II." But like that's where pop culture was. Like kids thought that there had been 3 world wars because people constantly referenced World War III in pop culture. But I guess she was trying to say this is so bad,
really bad.
It's worse than, it's not just World War III. It's worse than
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 10. All the ones that came. It's worse than the 8 or the 7. It's worse than the 7 world wars that came after World War III.
It was another one of those awkward expressions like, that must weigh a megaton. Like, there's probably a better way to say it. But.
Yeah, that's just clunky writing. That's all that is. Like, World War III is making a comeback, guys. It's really getting popular again, is what I hear. So,
it's on fleek.
All right.
Fleek, I think.
All right, pizza time.
I think I used that right.
Pizza time. So,
time.
Who's our resident pizza guy here? It's been so long since we've done
I got him written down.
All right, what do we see, Jerry?
Well, the only pizzas that we actually saw look like some little personal pan pizzas. They didn't actually say anything about what kind of pizzas they were, although my kid looked at them and she said, "Oh, pepperonis. They like pepperoni." But at the beginning, when they're in the grocery store shopping, Leonardo and Michelangelo are talking about what they've been eating, and Leonardo is encouraging Michelangelo to have a healthier diet. He mentions bean sprouts and some other things. And he tells Michelangelo, you can't eat peanut butter and jelly pizza all the time. Or again. So he references that there's been peanut butter and jelly pizza. And then Michelangelo says that last night he had chocolate chips and caramel fudge pizza. Chocolate chip and caramel fudge pizza.
Kendall, your assignment is to try that between now and next episode.
That's okay.
I will try chocolate chip and caramel fudge if Kendall will try peanut butter and jelly.
See, that's funny because they actually served peanut butter and jelly pizza when I was in college. Like that was something that the cafeteria served.
I bet that did
like a dessert pizza. I could see a dessert pizza because I've had dessert pizzas similar. I could also see if you did kind of like a Thai theme, like a good crust and maybe some curried chicken with a Thai peanut sauce and a little bit of mango chutney. That could be really good.
We're getting really in the woods with this pizza talk here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one of those rapid reviews or whatever you call them, Brad.
They're called rapid reflections, and
rapid reflections,
check them
rapid repeating reflections, and I'm gonna do one about Smash from Slash for Cash, and I'm gonna do one where I make this pizza that I just invented.
Is there any? We can do that, Jerry. We should do that one time this summer.
Bork. We can be like the Swedish chef while we make it.
The Dash of Salt guy. Have y'all seen him? Like, I didn't know who the Dash of Salt guy was.
I don't know who that is either. I'm talking about the guy from the Muppet Show.
Kendall, do you know the Dash of Salt guy?
I do not.
Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't either, but apparently he's a really big deal. Look him up. Very big pop culture phenomenon right now. Anyway, that's all I got for this episode. This has been a one-of-a-kind only edition of the Technodrome Tales podcast. Is there anything else you guys want to say about this episode before we wrap things up and give a rating?
No, I think
so. How do they come out of the side of a blimp?
I thought that too. I almost
Like
wrote
when
that.
they come out of the turtle blimp, like the side actually opens. Doesn't a blimp essentially like you ride in the carrier on the bottom, the gondola on the bottom, right? Like the blimp is filled with helium or something. So, or what do they fill it with now?
And
Helium.
there you go with another one of those Splinter and April sexual double entendres that I was talking about.
What? Where
Coming
did that
out
come
of the
from?
side of a blimp.
They come out outside the blimp. The turtles do. The turtle blimp.
I know.
They open it up. They have like a hatch on the side of the blimp.
Yeah, blimps are full of hot air, I think.
Exactly. They're full of helium. Yeah, they're full of helium. And I'm like, how do they come out of the side of that? Shouldn't they have come out of the gondola underneath? That really bothered me as a kid. And I saw it here again, and it really bothers me now.
You tried to like cut a doorway in your blimp, your turtle blimp as a kid, and you just busted it.
And then my grandma had to buy me a second one. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really do that. But I'm looking at pictures of blimps, and I can't find any that have holes in the side like that.
What about a Zeppelin?
A Zeppelin's a blimp.
I know it is. Could you come out of the side of a Zeppelin?
I will research that.
That may be one exception.
But this is the turtle blimp, not the turtle Zeppelin.
There's definitely a thing like in the episode where Sideshow Bob tries to kill Bart.
Oh yeah,
with a blimp. He has a plan that involves a blimp. I think it's like the duck blimp or something like that. They do stand inside of the balloon portion at one point, but I don't remember specifically what happens there.
This is a good time for us to announce our Simpsons podcast.
I think we should do a blimp podcast.
Okay. The one thing I wanted to mention was I did like Krang a lot in this episode. The moment he is very evil, because the reason that he won't send Bebop and Rocksteady back to the regular dimension is that he likes torturing people and torturing animals, and Bebop and Rocksteady are both.
That's like some sadistic stuff right there.
Speaking of torturing people, let's go ahead and wrap up this edition of the Technodrome Tales podcast. Jerry, where can people find more of you on the internet?
Don't we have to rate the episode first?
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's all right.
What would you rate the episode, Jerry?
I guess what are we going on?
You want to go
out of 5?
Out of 5 with a 0.5.
Yeah.
I guess I give this a 3.5 out of 5. I actually really like it. I really think that the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang, at least Smash from Slash for Cash, I think he actually could have been a good recurring villain. Like this crazy guy that, that wore like a turtle costume and sort of discredited them. If they would have continued with that. I think he actually could have been a legit villain that stuck around a little bit. I really liked the episode. I thought it moved pretty fast. I enjoyed, again, that everybody kind of had the beginning of a new storyline. The turtles are kind of setting out on something. I don't know. Theirs is less defined, maybe. But April seems like she has a new mission.
She has a new mission, all right.
Shredder has a new mission.
Oh.
What?
Well, you were talking about the Splinter's new mission, April's new mission. We're going in a bold new direction in season 2 of this episode.
It is. It's starting some new things, and I did enjoy it overall. So I give it a 3.5.
Good and a half then on our old confirmed epic rating scale. What about
why not?
What about Kendall?
I'm giving it a 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with him. I'm gonna go with the It was okay. It wasn't anything special. It really.
Guys, I don't know if y'all are gonna be too much happier these future episodes.
Well, I mean, I'll adjust my expectations as time goes on, and I will force myself to enjoy them if necessary.
I know what I'm expecting.
But still, this one was, in the context, this one was a step in the wrong direction. Like if it can be cyclical, like if they take things even further, like it could get better and it could work. It's just the way that this one came across. It just sort of about half of the episode I was pretty meh.
mean,
Yeah.
you kicked a safe open. That was pretty cool.
All that stuff was the
Yeah.
reason it got 2 stars.
But like here, think of it this way. Okay, so in the first episode, they kicked the foot soldiers kicked a vending machine and got lots of soda out of it.
Like
and this one, they
Fonzie.
kicked the safe open.
Yeah.
That's
an improvement.
The bit with the soda was a better gag.
Next they're gonna kick a megaton bomb and mutate themselves because of it. I don't know. That didn't go anywhere. So
Speaking of not going anywhere, let's go ahead and wrap up this edition of the Technodrome Tales podcast. Jerry, where can people find more of you?
they can find me at actionfigurebarbecue.com, which is the official website of actionfigurebarbecue.com.
What about you, Mr. Kendall Hallman?
So you can find everything I do on kendallcast.ninja. I will you can also hear me on the Teenagers with Attitude podcast that I believe will be released July 7th. I was a guest host on that.
Can't wait for that.
And also follow me on Twitter because I always forget to plug my Twitter at khallman, KHALMAN.
As for me, you can find me at the Epic Review, thepicreview.com, Geeks Worldwide, thegww.com. Find me on Twitter at The Real Brad Bell, DREEEL Brad Bell. Go to YouTube, search Confirmed Epic Podcast. Check out some of my new YouTube stuff, like, as Jerry mentioned, the Rapid Reflections. Jerry, go ahead and take us out of here, my friend.
Ninja vanish.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are owned by Paramount Pictures, which is a subsidiary of Viacom Entertainment. Our theme song is by the DJ Figure. That is used for our intro and our outro. All of our art, cover art, and album art is provided to us with the permission of Dasha Ko, who you can find on DeviantArt. Thank you for listening.
This has been a production of the GWW Radio Network. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Also, check out Geeks Worldwide at thegww.com for all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on video games, comics, movies, TV, cosplay, and more. Geeks Assemble!